Now to that breaking news overnight. Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle shot and outside his own clothing store in Los Angeles.
Trampled.
Nobody else does it.
For count one alone, it would be 50 years to life. The total sentence would be 60 years to life in prison.
3 years after the loss of popular rapper and businessman Nipsey Hussle, his assailant was arrested and sent to jail. Eric Holder, aka Shty Cuz, a 29-year-old Los Angeles-based aspiring rapper and alleged Crips gang member, was accused of unaliving Nipsey and was arrested in the Los Angeles suburb of Bellflower. For years, the public has questioned who and why Nipsey was unalived, but it wasn't until Eric was arrested and sentenced that we started putting the pieces together. So who was Shty Cuz?
Hey, they was putting the pieces together way before that. You know what I mean? Especially on this internet.
And what made him end Nipsey's life? Let's get into it. Los Angeles County Superior Court, Judge H. Clay Jackie, sentenced Eric Holder Jr. to 50 years to life, based on both unaliving Nipsey and a sentencing enhancement because he used. Holder would also serve an additional 10 years in prison on assault convictions for shooting 2 other men who were with Hussle the day of the unaliving, as presented by the court.
So for count 3, it will be a total of 10 years in state prison. As to count 1, the first degree of Mr. Ascadon, the sentence will be the term prescribed by law, which is 25 years to life. In addition, there will be the 12022.53B allegation. The total sentence would be 60 years to life.
The event occurred when Eric Holder was on a date with a woman who would become his unwitting getaway driver on March 31st, 2019.
On a date, and you had your date be the getaway driver. You know, that's something different, man.
When he approached Nipsey Hussle in front of the Marathon clothing store near Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard. The 2 men then had a brief conversation with Eric leaving, only to return minutes later with 2 hand and opening fire in the middle of the parking lot, unaliving Hussle and wounding 2 other men nearby. The assault was captured on video, and there was no question Eric Holder was the man when trial started last year. Instead, defense attorney Aaron Jansen argued Holder should be convicted of manslaughter rather than M. Jansen claimed his client had become incapable of rational thought after Hussle mentioned there might be paperwork on him, slang referring to records indicating Holder had cooperated with police. Eric and Nipsey were both members of the infamous Rollin' 60s set of the Crips Street Gang. Jansen argued during trial that being accused of snitching by someone of Hussle's stature in front of other gang members in the heart of Rollin' 60s territory triggered his client.
Can't call.
Now that's crazy, right? Because Cowboy whole thing was Nip never called Eric a snitch. You know what I mean? At least not that day, right?
Can't call a dude a snitch in his face and expect him not to respond.
This was not just a pleasant conversation between homies who are chopping it up. This was a serious accusation, Jansen said during his closing argument last year. Mr. Holder Jr. took it serious as it was. He knows the consequences of being called a snitch in this manner. It had already been alleged that the main reason Eric had shot Nipsey was because the influential rapper and businessman had called him a snitch, and for people in gangs, being called a snitch is one of those major insults that could potentially ruin their lives. Eric had felt insulted when he was called a snitch and had decided to end Nipsey's life.
Acting in a heat of passion. We told you what that heat of passion that he acted on consisted of. It consisted of being...
So I wonder, was that Cowboy whole thing? And I think it was. He was trying to make sure he got the book, you know what I mean?
Publicly a snitch.
Considering that Nipsey was like his mentor, since Eric had even been signed to his label as an upcoming rapper, meant that his chances of ever getting work or being accepted into his community as a snitch was slim. Eric Holder had been an upcoming rapper calling himself Shty Cuz, and had had a close relationship with Nipsey, who had already made his name in the rap scene. While his lawyer argued that Shty Cuz had done what he had done out of anger, Deputy dissed. Adder John McKinney, however, said the defendant was fueled by jealousy, since he also was a fledgling rapper, recording tracks under the moniker Fly Mac. But his work gained next to no attention. While Hustle's 2018 record, Victory Lap, was nominated for a Grammy, Douglas, who served as a key prosecution witness...
So, I didn't know they was that close to where he was signed to Nip shit. I think I heard something about that, right? But that came, like, later on down the line. Another thing that's a trip, right, is that, you know, they tried to paint the, oh, he was jealous narrative in this, that, and the third. That would even lead a motherfucker to believe that he definitely was on some premeditated type shit today. You feel me? Like the shit was just mustering over. Like it couldn't have been nothing, but I don't know. Keep it lit.
At trial, said Holder's argument that the mere mention of paperwork would make him fear for his life was based on an outdated understanding of LA gang culture. Nowadays, there's so many snitches walking around. That's a myth. You could walk out a gang right now. We don't care if you walk out of the rollin' 60s, we ain't gonna do nothing to you, he said. Me getting on the stand right now would be considered snitching. I ain't worried. Maybe in the 80s, yeah, but this is 2022. When the snitching argument didn't work, Jansen argued Holder suffered from severe mental illness, reading a letter from the defendant's father that claimed Holder had been diagnosed with auditory schizophrenia at age 19. Jansen said Holder often heard voices in his head that made him paranoid and erratic, describing a situation just 3 weeks before the shooting, in which he threw a heavy weight through a window in a manic episode because he feared he would be MD. When this argument also failed, Jansen then displayed a picture of staples placed in Holder's head after he was slashed with a razor by a fellow inmate.
Hey, they try hella shit to get bro off, but the cold part about it is, right, just because it's supposed to be something that's accepted, right, like they was trying to portray as far as snitching goes and this, that, and the third, don't mean everybody want that shit or is cool with being labeled as such. You get what I'm saying?
During the trial, asking the court to consider sentencing the defendant to 28 years to life rather than 60, given the extreme danger he will face in prison for unaliving someone with Nipsey Hussle's stature and reputation.
Rapper Nipsey Hussle's alleged was attacked on his way to court. Eric Holder's attorney tells TMZ that
I want the court to consider what his life is going to be like in state prison. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be short. He's already received numerous death threats. He's been beaten up. He's been isolated, Jansen said. When the sheriffs can, they isolate him, not just in a one-man cell. We're talking about whenever he leaves his cell, they have to lock down the whole floor so that no one could get to him. Several people had already mentioned that if given the chance, they would have ended Eric's life themselves for Nipsey, but since he was going to jail for 6...
Now that's some strange shit. It's like, is that the usual defense? Like, when all else fails, they like, man, please don't put him in there, man. At least not for this long, man. He gonna have it hard, man. Especially the shit he done did. He done killed the reputable. Man, look out for him. That's basically what they were saying to the judge, and that's strange.
years, he would face demise there.
Right there. That's exactly what Trady said.
If I could have followed him and got away, you know, and thought I had a reasonable chance to get away with it, yeah, I'd have popped him.
This argument did not shake the courts, and as Holder was led out of court, Douglas started singing, "Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more," laughing as Jackie and deputies admonished him and ordered him out of the room. Before being arrested by the police, they had urged Holder to turn himself in. I asked him, Holder, to surrender, implored the police chief before the arrest was made. Stop this from continuing. Rumors were already going round that some of Eric's relatives were being unalived, to the point his own brother allegedly ended his own life for fear of being the next victim.
Eric Holder's little brother committed. Is that for sure? Yeah, it was in the paper. Just it was too much. Like, I guess all the family members are getting, you know what I'm saying? And then he's so close. I mean, naturally, it's probably going to come to him.
According to TMZ, the man was arrested in the LA suburb of Bellflower about 12:50 p.m. local time in the 9000 block of Artesia Boulevard. The gossip website also cited a source.
Yeah, man, so that was part one of getting to know who Shitty Cuz is and whatever have you, and some of the like reasoning behind, suspected reasoning behind why he did what he did and this, that, and the third. Crazy part about it is, bruh ended up taking his own life. Like, nigga, fuck all that. That would, hey, That's the last thing you do, man. You would have been better off letting niggas come and get you or moving or doing something like, you feel me? It ain't that serious where a nigga just hella scared to where a nigga gonna take his own life. Like, fuck that. But, yeah, man, we got some interesting information, man. And what's crazy, right? So, if you think about, like, some of this, you know, shit that's been spilling over online as far as, like, this certain shit, I ain't even gonna go into it, man. That's a little too deep, but yeah, man, this shit crazy, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man, about Shitty Cuz and him getting a 60 piece. So it sounds like he got 50 for doing what he did to Nip. Rest in peace, Nip, nigga. You know, condolences to the family once again, nigga. Black Sam, this, that, and the third. His mother, his kids, Lauren London. You feel me? Shit crazy, but sound like he got a 50 piece for that, and then got a nickel a piece for popping the other two niggas. And I wonder, did he pop them on some just he was in really on some manic rage type shit, or he popped them on some no witnesses type shit, or he popped them on some once I get on Nip. Was he knew what he was gonna do to Nip, so once he got on Nip, he know how niggas was gonna respond to that. So he had to, you know what I mean? He had to make sure it wasn't nobody else out there with ham sandwich on him. So he popped both of them too. Like, nigga, when he get ready to flee scene, he don't want a nigga chasing him and pop him in his ass. You know what I mean?